Hi guys, Mike Greer here again with another review from the Best Free Training of a great free resource for helping people understand science, how science really works. The University of California, Berkeley, with a National Science Foundation grant, put this amazing collection of resources together, and it's kind of like a Swiss Army knife for people who want to understand and learn about science. On the one hand, it's a tool for teachers to help them get a deeper understanding and prep their lessons. And it's also a collection of resources that can be used self-study by a self-directed learner, or can be used by those same teachers to provide effective and accurate training in science for students. And then finally, it's a tool for the general public and students themselves to provide some perspective on how to go about learning about science, applying the scientific method, and really using science in your everyday life to challenge research data, understand things better, and so forth. So I'm just going to poke around at random here and give you a sense of what this is about. It is such an amazing in-depth resource that I really can't cover it all, but I'm going to show you some things that are fun. So looking here at Understanding Science 101, you see there's all of these components here. Introducing science, what is science, how it works, what's scientific evidence, and so forth. Each of these is a subsection. So let's go to Understanding Science 101. And notice there's an article on that, and you can read more about it. And each of those, there's links within the links and images and where to begin. And click Next and go on. Up comes some wonderful things in the science sidebar. And notice here we have in this What is Science, we've got 13 pages of stuff, little sidebar things, misconceptions, taking side trips to Science Magazine's list of the most 125 most intriguing unanswered questions, to really engage people and get them involved in science. What are some technologies? How science is being useful to develop new technologies. Scientific checklist here. Here's a science checklist. And we go through each of these things and get involved in each of them a little bit deeper. So this one is focuses on the natural world. We start with that. And science aims to explain the natural world and so forth. I'm just poking around. This is not scripted, can you tell? Here, for example, we're looking at a science prototype. Rutherford and the atom, Ernest Rutherford's investigations when he was examining and doing his research work. Let's look at this for a minute. For teachers. The teachers' lounges are divided into sections so that some overall advice for teachers: make it explicit, help students reflect, give it to them in context again and again. And then, depending on which level you're teaching, like here we've got the, let's say grades 3 through 5. I clicked on the 3 through 5. What are the nature of the student in intermediate elementary school? What are some implications for instruction? A little background on what you can expect of students. Go back to the teacher's lounge. Tips for the teacher getting started and working with the 3 to 4, and encouraging them to come up with exploration and discovery and so forth, testing ideas, kind of a model for how to approach the teaching of science. And they've got some additional tips and strategies there for you. But we're looking at how teachers need to be involved in correcting misconceptions, misinterpretations of the scientific process, that science is a collection of facts, science is complete, when in fact science is an ongoing kind of thing. It's continually growing and evolving. Misunderstanding of the limits of science. The misunderstanding be that science contradicts the existence of God. Correction, and this is provided in detail there. So you're kind of really given a lot of perspective here. Let's go back to our main listing of teaching resources for the look at the grades 13 through 16, which of course is college. Tips for the teachers, some sample starting activities, suggestions for kicking off the semester right, mystery boxes, umbrellology. Let's look at the resource library. Under the resource library, we have teaching resources. The Understanding Science, Reviewing the Basics, How Science Works, the flow chart. This is an amazing flow chart showing how the business of science, float over any one of them, hover, and up come some of the sub-activities that are within that zone. So under exploration and discovery, you have this cycle of asking questions, exploring literature, finding inspiration, and continually sharing, making more observations, and so forth. Very interactive, showing the scientific process is something very creative and wonderful. Um, benefits and outcomes uh, that can develop new technology, address societal issues, and so forth. So how do we test ideas, gather data, interpret data, and all of that? So this this is, again, providing perspective and plugging people into the scientific process. Um, let's look at the resource library in general. We've got do-it-yourself guide to finding out what makes a fair test in science and how you can use the same ideas. How to think science when you develop your scientific outlook in your world. And again, with some examples. Um, something surprising. How can you question, investigate, be skeptical, think creatively? Again, guidelines, lots and lots of guidelines. Um, go back to the basics here, Understanding Science 101. And looking at let's just look at the contents list to get a full look at the contents. What is science? We got discovery, a science checklist. Science aims to explain what's the perspective beyond physics, chemistry, and biology, and how science works. Lots and lots of subtopics within that. The core of science, putting the pieces together, the hard work of building arguments, and again, little sidebars, enlighten and enhance. And you can navigate through this stuff here through any article by going through the various sub pages of that article. Lots of graphics and perspective given there. So this, I know, I'm superficial and I probably sound like a goof because I'm not being completely cogent as these wonderful geniuses were that put this together. But my object is to simply inspire you to get out there and play with this website and to know that Understanding Science, How Science Really Works is an incredible teacher's reference, and especially if you're teaching students and you're a homeschooler, or if you're teaching yourself, it's also designed to be used at the adult level. So I clicked on the About. I began doing a little reading about the background, and what I came up with was a wonderful article from at sciencemag.org which reviews Science 101, Building the Foundations for Real Understanding. And they talk a little bit more in depth, provide a nice review of this article, of this website rather, and show its origins, where it came from. And then there's this lovely chart. This is a PowerPoint slide that I downloaded from the article Science 101, Building the Foundations for Real Understanding at the sciencemag.org website. And the reason this is such a wonderful graphic is that it shows the different audiences, being students, K through 12 teachers, and undergraduate instructors, and the general public as well, that all these different tools were created to work with. So that article not only profiles the origins of this incredible work, but it also shows you who the various content domains and so forth. It's a real nice broad orientation to everything that you can find in the Understanding Science section, and then there's another section called Understanding Evolution. So the bottom line is that Understanding Science, How Science Really Works, is an amazing collection of free resources that are another example of the best free training, and in this case, educational materials that can help you as a self-directed learner, help you as a teacher, help you as a homeschooling parent to push back the frontiers of ignorance around us. So go get it, enjoy it, and thank the good people at UC Berkeley and the National Science Foundation for creating such an amazing resource. And for more great free training resources, check out thebestfreetraining.net.